Poker Bunny getting mixed up here as she's going to open the cutoff. King 6 suited. Slicer out of the small blind. Going to 3-bet squeeze the ace king offsuit. Poker Bunny now sitting back on 5K.
Contemplating what to do here.
Yeah, this is not the biggest size in the world, right? Just a shade over 4x. And I think this is a perfect sizing from Slicer. It sort of puts your opponent in a situation where they're going to want to call with a lot of their range. I think King 6 is going to be low enough down that you should just be folding this, but it's also a price where playing in position, you know, you sort of just get priced into things like this.
And a great flop for Poker Bunny.
Yeah, not many better flops, all things considered. She's going to make bottom pair with king high flush draw. Slicer whiffs this by a mile, but he does have the ace of diamonds, which may convince him, give him sort of the gumption to 3-barrel this. But let's see. Has put out a continuation bet here, 250 to go.
If you're Poker Bunny, are you raising here, or are you just calling, hoping that he will bet again on the turn?
This is a spot where you actually can raise. Even though your opponent is going to have the sort of the overpair advantage, you're going to just drill all of that with your sets, and you would want to be raising them instead of calling because of the front door flush draw that's available. So you definitely could be raising with your sets. And so I think that the king 6, if you make it into this hand with a king 6 of diamonds, that's not a bad spot to go ahead and raise and try to win with king high. Sorry, with the bottom pair, I should say. She is just going to elect for the call, which is also totally fine. As long as you don't fold, you're doing just fine. Slicer going to continue once more here. Looks to be 825. And Poker Bunny quickly reaching for chips to assemble a big stack of greens to shuffle. Yeah, impressive shuffling skills with those nails.
I don't know how she's doing that with those nails, Aaron. A lot more skillful than me, that's for sure. Although I've never had nails that long, have you?
Can't say that I have.
Nope.
Yeah, her body language has sort of indicated just a higher frequency. You know, you can tell just the frequency at which she was shuffling those chips sort of went up. Is going to be a little bit of a tell to some of the players here that are looking out for that sort of thing. Let's see if Slicer picked up on any of that. Bet of 825 and a call. Slicer going to give it up. He says, you know what, if you can call me on 2 streets, I am ready to shut this down. Poker Bunny should just be checking behind, as I think the 6 just going to be enough showdown value that you don't need to turn it into a bluff. Also, if you do turn it into a bluff, you're going to need to go all in, which is just kind of a weird spot. Let's see how she handles this, though. Sitting here with the action. Is going to check behind. Assumes the folding position, but no, gets to flip over the 6. And Slicer sort of dejectedly looks at that hand and was like, oh,
whoa.
Well.
Did not expect that.
Yeah, not really what I was hoping you had. But.
And Joe, his very first hand, sits down and wakes up with aces. What a great hand to wake up with when you first sit down at the table.
Yeah, pretty incredible stuff. Literally sit down, get your chips assembled, and here's number 1. Big Daddy Chaz. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Gonna look him up from the second straddle here. Or sorry, no, Big Daddy Chaz had opened to 75 with the 5s.
And the overbet already.
Flops a set. Yes, Joe bets 1,000 here. He's got the ace of diamonds. It's queen high. Sort of disconnected. He feels good about this. Big Daddy Chaz, check call. Off to a turn we go. 6 of hearts. Does put a 3-liner here. Big Daddy Chaz has another natural check. Joe's going to snap check behind. A deuce on the end, and this is a little bit connecty. It's kind of hard to put your opponent on like 7, 8, or some sort of 3. But let's see here. Big Daddy Chaz going to go for value clearly, and might want to keep this somewhere around 2,000 to make sure that he doesn't scare his opponent off. But he could also go for the full big polar. He is going to go a little over 2K. 2,400. And welcome to the game, Joe. Get number 1, get coolered. Wow.
Wow.
Sat down with 10K, and he's now on 6,200. So very unfortunate.
But I can't change his name, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I would love to see a raise here, get more money in the pot, and charge those draws maybe somewhere between 11 to 1,300. What did she?
Gotta name my other one.
She's going to click this
Little
to
mid-click.
650.
Yeah.
More of a dog name.
Yeah, I think if you're going to raise, then this is a size that's going to invite a lot of trouble. I think maybe her idea is that I'm going to click this up, and then if I just get called, I sort of know that the story that was told is true. And if they raise, then maybe it's something a little bit different, and I can find a way out of this for the cheaper side of things. But interesting choice here, going for the min click back. Fred Flintstone here, he's got a gut shot and the pair of sevens, and he's going to pile it. He says, no chance a min click can be that strong. You're trying to give yourself a way to squirt out of this, squirrel away. And indeed, that sort of seems to be the story that Poker Bunny was telling here. So now over to Joe with the nut flush draw.
What an interesting hand.
And now he's got to say to himself, what are my direct odds and what are my odds if Poker Bunny ever comes in behind? Yeah, he's going to pile it all in as well.
Now, what do you do if you're Poker Bunny?
Oh, now I think you
Oh,
fold.
she folds.
Yeah, I think she's out of there already. Yeah, she let it go pretty quickly. I mean, she had the best hand, but she would have won the first run out, and that would have been the only run out. She would have won. As it stands, we had a clean run out there for the sevens on the first board. We've missed our top-down view. Sevens
take it.
and a queen. So there you go. Fred Flintstone piling it all in with the second pair effective and a gutter. And he's going to run clean. Ships that pot here, Alex. Gonna find a call on the button, ace-10 off, facing this action is maybe not advised. Generally going to want to put that one into a 3-bet or fold, but he's going to go ahead and flat. Brings in Fred and Slicer as well. We've gone 5 ways to the flop. Jack high, checks through, duck on the turn. Joe going to pick up a set. Fred here still has the flop gut shot straight as well. 5 would make him a straight. Slicer has a gut shot of his own. He needs a 10. Chaz has a pair, but is just going to let it go after this bet of 450 from Slicer after checking through on the flop. Joe here, the effective stack with just 16, almost 1,700. He's going to go for the flat here. And heads up, we go to a king of spades on the river. Doesn't change the texture that much, as neither of these players are going to be holding too many kings.
Would you like to see the raise there from Joe, since he only had 1,200 left behind? He has a
Yeah, the deuce is just such an innocuous card that if your opponent had anything, you generally could just pile it in, and they're just going to be like, I don't know, I guess you could have a flush draw or straight draw or something. Yeah, let's go. But Slicer is going to go for the bluff. He just has 9 high, so of course he needs to try to go for it there. Hope that his opponent was on hearts and that he could push him away, but that's not the case. Joe has the set. He's going to snap call, gets the dub, and that's going to move him up just a shade over 4K. So 1,400 in the middle here. 3 players with fairly disjointed hands. Frenchie, the most connected player with the highest equity.
She's like trying to tell him, push the chips, and he's not even paying attention.
Yeah, he's got better things to do than help Kristen get the chips into the pot. But 10, 8, deuce, two-tone. Nice little flop there for Pierre. Joe, though, not going to hate that either. He's got the 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? It's a 10 of spades to go with his 6 and 4. But Frenchie is still best with the toppest of pairs. He's going to bet big, too. He's going to go 900 into 14. He says, you know what? I want to win, and I want to win now. You all can fold. I will be quite happy with the result. But Joe doesn't seem to be going anywhere just yet. I think he's cutting out all of his chips to find out what he's got exactly before he clicks this back to 19. Nope, 2K. Even 2,000. And this is either like super nutted or just like, I'm Joe and I step on the gas and you respect me. So Frenchie is just going to pile it. He says, all right, so be it. I don't go folding top pairs.
And Frenchie always normally goes once, so hoping to fade a flush here.
Right, you are. Has the Jack of Spades blocker, so that's one fewer card that can come to give Joe the flush. And let's go ahead and run this one out. It appears that we are going to get at least the first run out. It's a 10 and a deuce. That's going to be good. Pierre going to win with a full house. And Joe cannot defeat full house with 6 high. He's, in fact, just playing the board. And all of Joe's chips going to get moved over to Frenchie. Dollars rattle. Alex over on the button finds ace king suited. 3 bets to 225. And Frenchie in the small blind going to go for the squeeze with the ace queen of diamonds. And Poker Bunny wakes up with ace king offsuit and facing a cold 4 in front. And she's got ace king. Is she going to cold call this? Or just do her due diligence here? She's just sort of counting up. And this is a very awkward spot. So you don't encounter this very often, but when you do, it is super player dependent, right? And Poker Bunny should recognize that Alex and then Frenchie button small blind, right? Like, their ranges are going to be strong, but they're not going to be as strong as some of the other players at the table. So let's see if she attacks this. And here we go. Couple of plaques going across the line. I love this, actually. This is perfect sizing as well. It's a 2.5x, which you generally will see sizes that are going to be significantly larger than that in a lot of spots, but this is not one of those times. You don't need to make this huge because you are 5 betting and you are a cold 5 better. Your range is huge. It's aces, kings, and ace king, like pretty much always.
And
This isn't the look of a man that is about ready to pile it in with covering stacked to his left, which I think would be the only play, would be to rip it. You don't want to flat, I don't think, and try to play this one. I mean, it is possible, I guess. I don't know. That one's just weird. I guess you could flat. Ugh. But then if Frenchie ever does actually just have aces or kings and piles it in, then you've just sort of torched another 1,200. Frenchie's going to release. Very well played by Poker Bunny. Round of applause there for
that was a great play.
the 5 bet there, and she's going to take that one down. And he's going to squeeze. He says, you know what? Frenchie raised to 200, and y'all just be like limping and calling and shit. Nah, bro. Not going to happen. Not on my watch. And you are suited, so this is about the bottom of Pierre's calling range. He is going to go ahead and put it in. And Fred, I mean, you know, go dig it in the hills. See if you can turn up a set. Yeah. Why not?
He's called with worse.
All right, 3 ways to a flop. Queen 7-5, couple of spades out there. Not the suits or the cards that Slicer and Frenchie were looking for. Fred is best here with the ducks. Of course, this is multi-way, and when Slicer checks, he's never checking a queen, but Frenchie is like, nah, something isn't right here. I'm not going to bet this. I'm going to take a free turn card. It's a 3 of spades. Nobody with even a single spade. Slicer cannot rep anything here, so he should not be betting.
This may go check, check, check 3 rounds and 2s win it, just like we had 4s win it earlier.
Nah, Frenchie can definitely bet now. So he could check behind with a hand like 10s, 9s with a spade, and then go for a a probe there on the turn. He's going to opt against it. I think he has sort of resigned himself to not really attacking this. But if this checks to him a 3rd time, he may have to take a shot at it. Frenchie just literally cannot represent anything, but he's going to try. Thing is, it's going to work because his opponents don't have anything to defend, but his range is just non-existent here. I mean, shit, maybe Fred is actually going to think this one through and try to figure out if Slicer could actually even have anything. I mean, he's got the worst pair possible, but this story just really doesn't add up. I mean, Slicer would literally have to have like 2 red 10s and just be going for thin value against like Pocket
called.
nines, pocket sixes. There it is.
Wow.
Fred with the deuces.
Woo!
Snaps it over,
call.
drags a 5K plus pot.
Alex is clapping.
Yes, he deserves some applause. He definitely does. He absolutely deserves some applause there.